The quiet hum of a deserted train station fills the late-night air. Faint whistles echo from somewhere down the tracks, followed by the distant crackle of an overhead announcement. Wind rushes along the empty platform, brushing against Desmond's coat as he stands alone, staring down the shadowed rails. The silence around him feels heavy, almost expectant, as if the very station is waiting for something to happen. Suddenly, his phone buzzes in his pocket. He glances down, and a voicemail notification flashes across his screen. Hesitating, he taps to listen. His own voice, soft, distorted, and strangely urgent, crackles through the speaker. "This is the last time. Don't look back." The words hit him like a chill, and he stands there, pulse quickening as he scans the empty platform, half expecting someone, or something, to appear out of the shadows. But nothing stirs. Only silence, thick and unyielding, pressing in on him. A low rumble begins, growing louder as the approaching train emerges from the darkness, pulling up with a slow, deliberate halt. The doors slide open with a hiss. Desmond steps inside, drawn forward by an inexplicable pull he can't quite name. The car is empty, quiet save for a low ambient hum. He settles into a seat, his eyes fixed on the windows as the train begins to move, carrying him through the night. And then he hears it, a slow, rhythmic heartbeat, almost imperceptible at first but growing louder, as if coming from the very walls around him. He shifts uneasily, glancing around the empty car, but sees nothing out of place. His phone buzzes again, another voicemail notification. He presses play, and his own voice comes through, clear and insistent. "Don't look back." The words repeat in his mind, the tone laced with a quiet warning, a plea he can't shake. As the train glides past the first station, he feels a shift, subtle but unmistakable. The air grows colder, and a whispering sound rises, faint but distinct, as though voices are drifting through the train, fragmented, familiar, but just out of reach. The train moves through another station, then another, and each time, the whispers intensify, mingling with faint sounds, a distant laugh, the soft hum of a lullaby, the low murmur of voices that sound hauntingly like his own. Desmond closes his eyes, trying to place the sounds, feeling as though these are fragments of forgotten memories, or perhaps memories that aren't his at all. Each station they pass feels like peeling back a layer of time, revealing moments lost, choices made and unmade, paths once taken and then abandoned. He opens his eyes, and the train car seems different now, dimly lit and hazy as if veiled in a thin mist. The rhythmic heartbeat grows louder, matching the rhythm of the train's movement, a slow, steady cadence that fills the silence, thrumming in time with his own pulse. Desmond's phone buzzes again, and this time, the voicemail is different. His own voice speaks, but there's a tremor in it, an edge of fear. "Listen carefully. You're not alone." He freezes, gripping his phone tightly as his gaze sweeps the empty car. For a moment, he thinks he sees a shadow shifting in the seat across from him, but when he looks directly, it's empty. The train slows as they approach another station, and for the first time, Desmond catches his own reflection in the dark window. He's there, but something's wrong. His reflection looks back at him with eyes that are older, wearier, shadowed by memories he doesn't recognize. His face in the glass holds secrets, choices he hasn't made yet, regrets he hasn't lived through. A chill washes over him as he stares, unable to look away, feeling as though he's staring at a version of himself that knows something he doesn't. The whispers around him grow louder, blending into a single soft voice, his own, speaking a warning he can barely understand. His phone buzzes one last time, the final message barely a whisper. "Look up." Slowly, Desmond raises his eyes, glancing toward the front of the car. The shadow he thought he'd seen earlier is there now, seated across from him, a figure cloaked in darkness, its form shifting as though woven from mist. The figure leans forward and he realizes, with a jolt of horror, that it has his face, staring back with a look of hollow resignation. The silence deepens, the heartbeat fading, replaced by the rhythmic pulse of the train. Desmond wants to move, to look away, but he's frozen, held in place by the figure's gaze. The shadowed version of himself speaks in a voice as cold and final as the grave. You can't keep running from yourself. The train begins to slow again, pulling into what feels like the final station, the last stop. The doors slide open, revealing only darkness beyond, a vast, pitch-black void stretching out into nothingness. Desmond stands, drawn forward by some invisible force, feeling as though the emptiness is calling to him, inviting him to step into the unknown. He turns back to the shadowed figure, but it's gone, leaving only his reflection in the window, watching him with that same hollow, knowing look. The silence stretches, deep and unsettling, as Desmond takes a step toward the open door, feeling the weight of everything he's ever left undone pressing down on him. The train hums softly, waiting, and in that quiet, final moment, he understands. The past doesn't simply stay behind. It waits, lingering like an echo, haunting every choice we didn't make, every path we left unexplored. The doors close, the train pulling away into the darkness, leaving Desmond alone with the weight of his choices and the haunting realization that some echoes never fade.